So there were a bunch of idiots in fake independent media who were telling you time and time again that Donald Trump is the anti-war candidate. Yes, he is. And, I was warning you all along, that's complete and utter bullshit. Of course it's not true. Just look at his first term. Look at all the hawkish things he did then. Nobody cared. Well, now here we are. The chickens are coming home to roost. And we have this article for you. Ready? Team Trump debates, how much should we invade Mexico? In Trump's government in waiting, the only question is how massive the U.S. assault on Mexican drug cartels should be. So the war is already a given. The invasion is already a given. The bombing is already a given. The question is, how full bore should we go at it? Within Trump's government in waiting, there is a fresh debate about whether and how thoroughly the president-elect should follow through on his campaign promise to attack or even invade Mexico as part of the war he pledged to wage against powerful drug cartels. By the way, I love this bold, fresh new thinking. Trump woke up one day and said, hey, I have an idea. What if we waged a war on drugs? Yes, Don. We haven't tried that before. We haven't wasted trillions of dollars on that before. That hasn't led to thousands of dead bodies and a complete and utter black market and more powerful drug cartels. Brilliant ideas, sir. Wage a war on drugs. But Trump looks at it and goes, we should make the war more war-y. That's how he views it. How much should we invade Mexico? Says a senior Trump transition member. That is the question. It is a question that would have seemed batty for the GOP elite to consider before, even during Trump's first term. But in the 4 years since, many within mainstream Republican centers of power have come around to support Trump's idea to bomb or attack Mexico. See, this is the trick they play, right? This is the game here. It turns out the mainstream Republicans are actually just as insane as the MAGA Republicans. Yeah, no fucking shit. Do you remember the Bush years? Do you remember the torture? Do you remember the economic crash? Do you remember the illegal wars? Do you remember the deregulation? Do you remember the tax cuts for the rich and giving the plutocrats every fucking thing they want? Turns out the mainstream Republicans are just as bad as Trump. Trump's cabinet picks, including his choices for Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State, have publicly supported the idea of potentially unleashing the U.S. military in Mexico. So has the man Trump has tapped to be his national security advisor. So has the man Trump has selected to be his border czar to lead the immigration crackdowns. So have various Trump allies in Congress and the media. So now you set up this self-perpetuating, self-reinforcing bubble where everybody's saying the same shit. Everybody from every corner of the Trump administration, invade Mexico, invade Mexico, invade Mexico. And it all started with a fucking brain fart from Trump, where he was trying to be Mr. Tough Guy. We're gonna stop the fentanyl, bro. We're gonna make sure we fucking do war with Mexico, bro. And all of a sudden it's like standard operating procedure, common opinion. This is like the polar opposite of the Democrats, who scare their own shadow, float a policy, then back off it immediately, do a watered-down version of it. The Republicans float a policy and then go to the maximalist version of it. Here we go. Trump, who has routinely and falsely promoted himself as the candidate who would stop endless wars, now wants to lead a new conflict just south of our nation's border. By the way, Joe Rogan, you got any thoughts on this? I know you supported Trump because you thought anti-establishment, anti-war, bro. You even asked him, the one tough question you asked him is like, did you make a mistake by picking the neocons? You already picked 7 new fucking neocons, and you got dick to say about it. Got anything to say about the video Trump released where he explains in detail his war with Mexico that he wants to do? Or this article which says the discussion is how much should we do the war? This is psychotic shit. Look, how do I get this across to people? Let's say that the left flank of the Trump administration wins, and they do the most minimum effort here for the war with the drug cartels. What would that look like? Probably drone strikes in Mexican cities. Our ally on our southern border, our number one trading partner. Even that's a fucking nightmare. Even if the best case scenario, it's a fucking nightmare. Why would you do that? Oh my God. But at this moment, it is, in the words of one Trump advisor, unclear how far he'll go on this one. If things don't change, the president still believes it's necessary to take some kind of military action against these killers. Jesus fucking Christ. It used to be, the duh position on this used to be obvious to everybody. The duh position was, hold on, why don't we legalize, tax, and regulate drugs? And if you do that, you put the cartels out of business because they can't compete with legal businesses who will provide a better product at a lower rate. That was the duh perspective. Now, they've swung the pendulum completely in the opposite direction, and even people who used to champion the idea of legalizing, taxing, and regulating drugs, people like Joe Rogan, now endorse Donald Trump and hasn't said fucking shit about the fact he wants to do a literal hot war with Mexico because of drugs. By the way, what is it? The number's like 80% of the fentanyl that comes in this country comes through ports of entry by American citizens. right? And this idea of like, hey, bro, go right up to the cartels. Unbelievable. Another source close to Trump describes Rolling Stone what they call a soft invasion of Mexico. Oh, okay. I guess we're good then. I guess this is a good policy then. In which American special forces, not a large theater deployment, would be sent covertly to assassinate cartel leaders. Oh my God. We tried this. We have killed Mexican drug cartel leaders in the past. It's called the decapitation strategy. You know what happens? Then you have a drug gang war in the street where people fight to become that leader's successor. We saw this with, what's his, El Chapo, I think it is. We saw it with him. We got him. We arrested him, bro. The problems are solved. Oh shit, the problem got worse. Oh shit, now there's fighting in the streets of Mexican cities and innocent people are getting caught in the crossfire and everything is way worse off. These people are fucking morons. Morons. So Trump floated this. It's an idea that he warmed to in private conversations this year. They say, for the story, Rolling Stone spoke with 6 Republicans who have each talked to the twice-impeached former and now future president about this topic. Some of these sources have briefed Trump on these policy ideas in recent weeks. These proposals of varying degrees of violent severity include drone strikes or airstrikes on cartel infrastructure or drug labs, sending in military trainers and advisors to Mexico, deploying kill teams on Mexican soil, waging cyber warfare against the drug lords and their networks, and having American special forces conduct a series of raids and abductions of notorious cartel figures. Is this what our fucking government should be doing right now? What do we have, 600,000 homeless people in this country? This is what you want your government focusing on? We got an old cancer drug that sells for $38,000 here when it goes for like $80 in the UK. Is this what you want your government focusing on? Medical bills are the number one cause of bankruptcy. Yeah, send the special forces and some drones into Mexico. This is from the so-called anti-war guy. God, I will never forgive all of the fucking charlatans and con men and frauds who lied to their audience and repeatedly pretended like Trump was anti-war when all of this stuff was on the record. You just had to be willing to read about it and be honest about it, and none of them were. That's why they're fake independent media, not real independent media. In some of these private conversations, including during this presidential transition period, Trump has told confidants and some GOP lawmakers that he plans to tell the Mexican government they need to stem the flow of fentanyl to America. I just told you, like 80% of that is from American citizens. As Rolling Stone has reported, since at least last year, Trump has solicited specific battle plans and different military operations for attacking Mexico. We love to attack our top ally, number one trade partner. We love doing that, don't we, folks? Marco Rubio, whom Trump chose to serve as Secretary of State, has endorsed the idea of sending U.S. troops to Mexico to combat drug cartels under the conditions that there is cooperation from the Mexican government and that such operations are done in coordination with the armed forces and the Mexican police force. So Marco Rubio is a moderate in his pro-war on Mexico position. Fox News commentator Pete Hegseth, whom Trump chose to lead the Pentagon, said last year that it could be done in the national interest to deploy the military against Mexican drug cartels, which he referred to as terrorist-like organizations poisoning our population. I don't even need to read any more of this. You guys get the gist of it. He's surrounded by psychos. He is a fucking psycho. He's a bloodthirsty maniac. He's a neocon warmonger, and everybody pretended like he wasn't, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. That's what we're looking at. Now, I'll ask you this. All of these fucking edgy outsider fucking alternative media guys that you guys watch, how many of them do you think are going to talk about this? How many of them are going to talk about this and express even the slightest peep of disagreement with Trump? I think we all know the answer to that, and it's not pretty. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.